Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga, etc. And I'm here to do a video response. Like, I've never done a video response before, but you know, first time for everything, I guess. So let's get into it. As you can see from the title of the video, from the thumbnail for the video, from the little preview that you can see here, this is about Naruto versus Nickcca Arc. For those of you who don't know, Nickcca Arc is original character from the series Vamp, which is from a mangaka who's up and coming, indie, whichever way you want to phrase it. And now it's the mangaka of the actual series Vamp who did this video himself. And when I remember, because this is not the first time I watched the video, I can't remember the full context of the video, but spoiler alert, I agree with what he does say. Well, I agree with, overall, I agree with what he's saying in this video. There's some things that I didn't agree, and that's why the video will be played out throughout this video, because I can't remember exactly what points it was. And it basically came to a point where I felt like it would be better to do a video response. It would be easier to do a video response rather than writing out a full-blown comment on his video. Like I said, I have watched this before. I remember watching it, but I don't remember the 100% ins and outs of the video. But I have watched it once before, so whatever he says won't come as a surprise as I watch it through again. But it's basically Naruto versus Nickcca at the end of their first arcs. And now the reason why I did first arcs is because for Vamp de los Soul, I question if the point that he's taken Nickcca from is and the end of the first arc. I would say the end of the first major arcs, yes, for both of them, Naruto and Nickcca. But for Nickcca, it is taken after the Bounty Hunter arc. And now, for me personally, I argue that is the second arc within the series. The whole of Volume 1 is not included in the Bounty Hunter arc. And now the reason why I say this is because there's a fun little Easter egg in Volume 2, halfway through the first chapter. So halfway through the first chapter of Volume 2, there's a nice little Easter egg which says Bounty Hunter arc starts here, or something along them lines. So that would mean that her whole of Volume 1 is technically its separate arc. I would call Volume 1 the Revelations arc, because this is where the truth is revealed to Nickcca that he's not just a normal boy, and things start from there. So I would call Volume 1 the Revelations arcs. That's my head canon, but end of their first major arcs. And now, before I go into it, there are some kind of similarities between Nickcca and Naruto. I have brought this up with my Volume 1 reviews, and I bring it up as time goes along. And it's simply because they both have something within themselves. Naruto, the Nine-Tailed Fox, and Nickcca with Puppet. And now, it's a theme throughout Naruto. The relationship, there is a theme. Would you call it a theme? The relationship, there's a ongoing thing within Naruto, and that is the relationship between Naruto and the Nine-Tailed Fox, and that carries out throughout the series until that is towards the end of the series, where the Nine-Tailed Fox and Naruto are now buddy. But it is a very slow progression to get to that point. However, with Nickcca and Puppet, things seem to be escalating in their relationship definitely quicker than between Naruto and the Nine-Tailed Fox. And the reason why I say this is because by the end of the Bounty Hunter arc, Nickcca can actively switch out between him and Puppet. By the end of the first arc of Naruto, he ain't doing that yet. But this is what we got for this fun. Naruto and Nickcca at the end of the first major arcs. So for Naruto, at the end of his major arc, he's only rocking the Shadow Clone Jutsu and the multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu, but Shadow Clone Jutsu nonetheless. And there's no Rasengan yet, there's none of that fun stuff. He is able at this point to control his chakra enough to enable him to walk up walls or just walk up any solid object. You get what I mean? I'm also, just to let you know, that I'm all doing this off the top of my head. I haven't rewatched or reread either of arcs of these recently. So that's Naruto's basic powers at this point. And with Nickcca, he there's something that happens in the video that I'm gonna address later actually, so I won't speak about Nikkei too much for right now. But when you do a versus, there are people out there, aka Death Battle, and there's people out there who go really analytical into it. I'm not one of these people. I have uh my own stuff that I look at, and I just basically judge it from there. But how I'm going to judge this fight is basically look at strength, speed, speed, destructive capability, endurance, and skills. And then I'm just gonna go through each one and say who I think would get the win in that category, and then probably an overall thing from over there. So let's look at strength first and foremost. So for strength, when we look at strength feats, I can't think of anything that stands out for Naruto in this standpoint. Again, I'm doing this from my memory, but for Nikkei, a strength feat that I can remember off the top of my head, and it's a pretty gruesome one. And now, during a fight with Gabriel, who is a vampire, so an undead body, if you will. I don't know if an undead body is supposed to be stronger or weaker than a normal body, but regardless of that, Nikkei was able to rip off the man's, I was gonna say skull, rip off his jaw, just clean off his body, and that would take some strength. So I am going to give that point to Nikkei in that one. So the next thing, destructive capability. So that's what you can destroy with a single blow. And now I don't know who to give this to, because Naruto doesn't have his Rasengan, his most destructive move, and at this point in the time, Nikkei doesn't have no really destructive moves over there, so I'm not gonna give that one to anyone. That's just how it is. So for speed, you can break speed down to how fast the character can move and reaction speed. If we're looking at reaction speed, again, I wouldn't know who to give it to. But if you look at speed, how fast they can move, I would have to give this one to Naruto. And this is why. Naruto is a ninja. You know, ninjas are just stereotypically very speedy type characters. But not also that. The fact that Naruto, he's been training since childhood to become a ninja, and Nikkei, he's been only training at most for a couple of months. He's new to this hero world, only a couple of months. So I would give speed to Naruto. What else did I say? Endurance. If we're going off of Arc 1 alone, I think I'd have to give endurance to Nikkei. And the reason why I'm thinking that is, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a scene where at the very end where Nikkei is fighting MK2, he gets really bloody in the abdomen, and he's still able to get up and keep it moving. So I think I'd have to give endurance to Nikkei. So it kind of looks like overall that Nikkei has the strength over and the endurance over Naruto, but when you all draw it down to the skills that these guys have and the professions, if you will, Nikkei, again, like I said, is new to this world. Not much experience, only a few months of training. But Naruto, however, he's been training his whole life, and he's a ninja. He's literally he's an assassin. He's trained to be a killer. Yes, I know he spends like the first few bits of this arc afraid, but he's trained to be a killer. So because of his skill, regardless of what he's lacking over Nikkei, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to a fight, Naruto would come out on top. And that's just without factoring the Nine-Tailed Fox and Puppet. If you do bring them into the fray, again, I still think Naruto comes out on top. If all honesty, I feel like if it was just Naruto versus Nikkei could win, but when you start to factor in Kurama, Nine-Tailed Fox coming to the fray, then the fight easily just goes to Naruto. But I am now going to watch the video again. Hopefully I haven't rambled on too much, and just as James makes a point, I'm going to comment on his points.
Hi everybody, I'm just going to do a quick short video for all social medias for this. I've always wanted to do this for a long time. So to track Nickca's progress, as in his fighting ability and his character development and that, I wanted to pit him up against an opponent that would...
Also, I'm going to stop right there and pause. I know some people can be funny about having their videos live reacted to, meaning that you can essentially watch the video without going to their channel watching their video, therefore they're kind of losing out on views. So one, James, if you've got a problem with this, let me know. I will edit the video. I will edit the video and put it back up, but I will remove this one. And two, if James doesn't mind and this video remains, please go to his channel, and if you agree with what he's saying, go give him a thumbs up. That's the least we can do to help his video out, and as well as helping mine out. So yeah, do that. Let's go back to this.
Be very similar in his respect. So I chose Naruto because he does show character progression. He's not super powerful on the get-go like Nickca is. So he make...
Wait, hold on, say what?
Not super powerful on the get-go like he does show character progression. He's not super... So I chose Naruto because he does show character progression. He's not super powerful on the get-go like Nickca is.
So is he saying Naruto is not super powerful like Nickca from the get-go? I'm gonna go with
So he make a good opponent. So let's get started. Why do I think Naruto would win?
So he right obviously says Naruto would win, and I honestly agree. Some people would... It's hard to do an accurate thing like this when it's your own character, but I feel like James has done a good job.
First off, Naruto's had training, and he's
I mentioned that
in the school's life, which means he's probably had a couple of mock battles, even if they're not as severe when he goes into the first arc.
There's that whole thing. Sorry, there's that whole thing you see in flashback where they're kids and they do have mock battles and they do fight, but one fight you don't get to see the actual fight, but it's basically alluded to like that Naruto and Sasuke have fought. I don't know if this is filler actually. I should really go check that out. But it's alluded, there is a scene in the anime, and it's alluded to that Naruto and Sasuke don't just fight when they're older. They have fought many times when they were kids.
And he's had time to develop techniques like his section no jutsu, his shadow clone jutsu.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So part of his arsenal is the sexy jutsu. That wouldn't help against Nickca, but I reckon that would help against something that he says later. Hopefully I remember to bring up.
Jutsu and a few other techniques, shadow clone stuff. Not shadow clone, sorry, the one with the log thing.
Just in case I don't remember, just in case I don't bring up when it comes up, because I'm just going to say it now. So later on in the video, he mentions about Team 7 fighting Team de la Soul. I think the sexy jutsu would help there.
Forgot what that jutsu was called, but basically he would be trained in the way of shinobi enough to definitely win in the technique category and the ability category.
I said that.
Those two central things alone would actually mostly would carry him to the victory that I'll be talking about. The only thing I think Nickca does have advantage over him on is power. So I'm talking about their natural ability sets before the techniques kick in. Nickca is a half vampire, half human, which means he has he's a little bit stronger than the average human.
See that that I didn't know. I remember when I watched it the first time. So being a half human makes you stronger than a normal human.
He is definitely a little bit faster and reflexive than most people, and
see I disagree. That's something I disagree with, because like I said, Naruto has been a trained ninja. Ninja is supposed to be stealthy, but it's not a major problem.
Nickca is quite for some reason he has a high amount of endurance, even for someone his race in the VTS world. Like, he has unnatural endurance, which means he would have the edge over
One thing you should have done, James, for this is give examples to back up your point. So you just said that Nikkei's got the endurance. Give an example and use your manga to do it. Don't refer to things you may have, because you like to mix and match your lure into your other stuff, aka your Dungeons and Dragon streams. But yeah, for future reference, when you're doing these, give examples, but keep it to your manga, because keep it to your manga for your examples, because that is your canon. You don't have an anime to go off yet. But yeah, examples.
Now, because of his natural abilities, obviously, if he drank blood, he would become a little stronger for a temporary amount of time. And
so yeah, if you drink, when he drinks, sorry, when Nikkei drinks blood, he can. I didn't know he becomes stronger, but it is mentioned within the manga that he can copy the abilities of the person he's drinking the blood from. I think that's only natural abilities, so he wouldn't be able to copy ninjutsus though, I think, because ninjutsu is molded from chakra, and that's something that everyone has within themselves, so I don't think you'll be able to copy ninjutsu.
That would be, and the only other thing I think he would have a surprise over Naruto, but I think he would get used to quite quickly due to his training, is Nikkei's personality. Now, if he gets to the point where the other personality sort of breaks through and reigns chaos on the battlefield and stuff like that, I think Naruto would be thrown off, because the fighting style would switch up and stuff to be a lot more aggressive than what Nikkei has. He's a lot more of a defensive fighter. His other personality...
Puppet is the boss, the boss. Like on that, but like he's saying, like James is saying, he is the more aggressive character. So I feel like Puppet could be Naruto in a fight. This is the point where he's come over his fear, but he's still a bit afraid. He's still a young buck, so I reckon Puppet could beat Naruto. But again, that all leads back into Kurama, aka the Nine-Tailed Demon Thoughts, come into play, and then helping him out as well. Because during this first arc of Naruto, I remember watching this for the first time and I didn't understand Naruto at all, but Naruto does use Nine Tails chakra in this first arc.
It would be a lot more offensive, a lot more berserker barbarian in D&D terms, but I think Naruto, after a little while, he would definitely overcome that, because as his ninja, he's put...
I personally don't think Naruto would overcome Puppet. I feel like, especially this stage of Naruto, where he's just basically relying on the Shadow Clones. Shadow Clones? Nah, because yeah. I personally think without the Nine Tails chakra, Naruto wouldn't overcome Puppet, but Nick is saying that otherwise, so...
being trained to sort of have unexpected scenarios pounced on it, and honestly, when we see in the first arc, Naruto is quite the creative fighter, and I think even on his own, he would definitely be able to take on Nikkei on a one-on-one fight.
Don't think Naruto is very creative in the first arc.
Yeah.
The only creative thing that Naruto does, that again, this is all off my memory, the only creative thing Naruto does within the first arc is his team up with Sasuke. And that will always be amazing. Oh, love that. Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Like, because of Jess, Rangpei, and Kaz, I think the team Lost Soul would definitely have the edge. I think the team one fight. A team fight, on the other hand, yeah, have unexpected scenarios pounce on it, and honestly, when we see in the first arc, Naruto is quite the creative fighter, and I think even on his own, he would definitely be able to take on Nikkei on a one-on-one fight. A team fight, on the other hand, yeah, like, because of Jess, Rangpei, and Kaz, I think the team Lost Soul would definitely have the edge over Naruto's.
Okay, this is what I was waiting for, because when this came up, when I watched this the first time, I remember I was still like, it was like one of the first things I watched when I woke up. So you know when you're just a bit sleepy and then something catches you and you're like, huh? That kind of woke me up kind of thing. I was thinking, yeah. So basically, he's saying that he thinks that Team De Loso, which is Nickcca, Rang Fang, Kaz, and Jess. And also, if we're talking at the end of the Bounty Hunter arc for these four guys, let's remember that Kaz don't have her arms. But so for this, I'm going to assume that, she's healthy, she's good to go, her body's good, she just don't have no arms, but she could still use her legs. So with Ramfang, Jess, and Nickcca, who, did I miss that point? I'm sure there's a point in this video where, I'll talk about that later if it comes back up. But I personally don't think that these four could be, now he says Team 7. Technically, Team 7 does include Kakashi. So if you're going to include Kakashi in this fight, then no, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for all three. It's a wrap for all four of them, James. It's a wrap for all four of them. If you're not including him, it'll be a closer fight, but I feel like Team Naruto will come out on top. Because Sasuke's got his Sharingan. He's also got his Fireball Jitsu. He's got all of that. He's got all of his Fireball Jitsus. And it won't take long. I honestly don't think it will take long, because what's Kaz gonna do in this scenario? She's technically defenseless, even if you gave her arms, and she used her Iron Legion. That's the armor that you see her using. That's not, the armor might protect. The armor might protect her from the might protect her a little bit from the fire star jutsus, but if I'm remembering correctly, those armors had like gaps in it where her body's actually showing. One kunai in there could be a problem. Sakura is on the useless hand. She doesn't display no ninjutsu during the series, so she's basically straight taijutsu and kunais and just ninja tools in general. But again, I don't know how long Jess has been training. I was thinking about matching Sakura up with Jess. I know Jess is not completely new to the game. She's had her sword training before, but okay, maybe Jess would win over Sakura. I might have to give her that, but I would think that fight would tire her out. And Rangfang, he's speedy, but he can't hit his full potential without the Dragon Mistress there. So his speed is not going to help him that long before I reckon he tires out. Yeah. Sorry, James, I just don't see it. I honestly don't see how you think. I just don't see how you think that those four could overcome Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. And I'm giving you a black because you said Team 7, so that includes Kakashi. Copy Ninja for a reason, 1000 Jitsu, they would all be gone. But yeah.
Team 7, even though Nickcca would be taken out quite earlier on,
exactly,
the others would pick up the slack definitely. They definitely had battle experience. They've definitely been through their traumas like Naruto has. So they would be on the same level as the other team. But
they have the experiences, yes, I agree. But so do the rest of them. And funnily enough, they're all around the same age. So they have the same amount of years of experience. And I want to argue, because this is something concussion only you can know, when exactly did they start their training? Because for Naruto squad, they're about this life, they're about that era. It is that kind of time where ninjas needed to be developed. So they definitely was developed from a young age. I would argue probably from, I'd say, how old can you be when you start school? Like 3-4? I reckon from 3-4, like Naruto squad, they've been training to be ninja from young. And I don't know how young Rang Fang, Kaz, and the other one I missed out have been training from, but I'd question, was it as young as them guys?
To be honest, this is not a team battle. This is a one-on-one fight. And I'm sad to say, as much as I love my characters and all that, Naruto would definitely take the first round. And remember, also, he's also faced a really tough opponent from the get-go. And he actually kind of won mostly on his own, even though he did have a little help. Nikkei, on the other hand, his first proper fight was with Gabriel, when
Naruto... I'd have to watch Dark again.
Arc truly started, when he had to shop the thermal. They even had help from James Vampra, while Nikkei had time to sort of...
I disagree with that. Nikkei, okay, if he did have help, he didn't need it. He could have. I personally feel like he could have won that fight on his own.
Take the battle to the victory. Also, on the second big fight he had, which was with MK2, Nikkei was getting absolutely obliterated. Yeah.
And I'm glad he didn't win that fight on his own, because if he did, I'd have been upset. I'd have screamed BS. I'd have screamed Nakama power up. I'd have screamed plot armor. I'd have screamed all of it. So, and I mentioned that during my reviews at the time. I was like, I hope Nikkei is not about to win this fight on his own. And luckily enough, that wasn't the case.
Yes, he did hold his own. His unnatural endurance helped him, and he did have a very quick think moment. But after that, things were going to go downhill for him, and he was actually saved by none other than his nemesis Geminio, and stuff like that. And remember, this is after Arc 1, so we're talking about their damage, what they've taken so far. Naruto, as much as he took damage, he probably would have recovered well, and stuff like that. Nikkei, on the other hand,
He infected because of Kurama.
lost his ability to use Shadow Magi.
See, that I didn't know. I didn't know because there was this, was it Magi limit break thing? But I didn't know he lost his ability overall.
Which is magic, because
He probably will get it back though.
he overdrived and he lost the
That was it, the overdrive.
use of it in his arms, and that's how he trained to use Magi. So at the moment, Nikkei has a major disadvantage by
Notice how he said at the moment.
losing that access pool of abilities that he had, which means it would really limited his combat capabilities to just a physical fight, which means Naruto, with his Sharingan Jutsu and other abilities aside, would really take the win on this one. So that was my thoughts. Anyways, if you guys have read my manga series Vamp the Lost Soul, you can get it on Amazon, Kindle, and Google Books. If you want to check out my manga series, and if you have any thoughts, comment down below, guys. Like, I was hoping, one, this would encourage people to read my manga more, and two, I think this would be interesting, because I think once Arc 2 is done, which is going to be a longer arc, I think the fight would then become a lot more interesting, because round 2 after Arc 2 would actually be a lot more of an interesting fight. And I think how I plan my story out, I would have to look at it after the fact, but I think the fight would be a lot more on equal ground. But so far, I'm sorry, Nikkei, Naruto would take the win. He is my OC. I do love him and all, but sadly, I don't see him winning this fight.
So yeah, that was it. So like, as you can see, overall we agree. I think there's slight differences on why we feel that Naruto would come out with the win, but ultimately we both agree that Naruto would come out with the win, and that's not a bad thing. You honestly, like, overpowered characters are, they're overrated. one punch. It's no, seriously. It's nice to start off with a weak character and see him grow, rather than just be upsetting everybody from the get-go. Like me just being overpowered from the get-go. So yeah, and in all honesty, I feel like this was a good character to match up against. Would be nice to see it done with other characters. I don't know, maybe like a Kid Goku or a Deku or a Luffy. I don't know, but it might be nice to see just other characters and to see how he matches up against them. Not saying I'm going to do them, I'm just saying it would be a nice idea. But like always, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care, have a nice day.